Always has to be a shot at somebody.
I know.
They're never clean.
They have to run. That's the only shot they have.
They do it for 82 games. We're about to find out.
He already has shown what he's capable of.
Did surprise me. I thought we were going to hang in there.
This makes me think that we do need to be humble.
I actually think you're the only one who deserved that beating.
Okay. Keep it rolling, Bailey. Yeah. We got the Podfather in the building. He only comes up for the wins.
Yeah, I had a blowout last game, man. I got killed.
We don't talk about that.
On the winning side tonight.
From now on, only wins. Only blowout wins for Nick. And the Celtics did just that. 131-95 over the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Celtics now, Nick, what's their record? 6-7. Come on, bro. Where you at?
I know, man. Sorry. I wasn't.
Come on, dude. All the kids are doing it. Damn.
I know,
the
man.
Celtics improved to 6-7 with a 131-95 win. I'm Jimmy Toscano. That is Nick Gelso. We've got Bobby at the Garden. We've got Noah at the Garden. And you already know that John Zanis wasn't going to make it for a blowout win, right? You already knew that
You
John
knew he was
Zanis,
calling me.
something was going to come up because John doesn't do the big wins. John does not do the big wins. We all know this. That's okay, though. We got Gelso filling in, and we're going to have a fun time. We're going to have a fun show tonight. If you watched last night, it got a little contentious, Nick. There was, these losses, these ugly losses, these tough finishes can bring out the best of you, can bring out the worst in you. It can bring out some fiery discussions. But tonight we're going to try to keep it light. This is like a game that Noah dreams about, right? Like all the hits. Play all the hits tonight. You got Pritchard going off, maybe his best game of the year. You had a bunch of contributions from the bench guys. Walsh gets the start.
Every B teamer did well. This is a perfect Noah game. It's like home court advantage.
She's
like
fired up. When she's fired up, we're fired up. That's just how it works here. So a rising tide lifts all the ships, as they say, Nick. So anyways, we're going to try to have some fun tonight. And I don't know if we're going to get 2 hours like we did last night. Last night was a marathon show.
Not from this guy.
It was like it was an airing of the grievances last night, but we're not doing that tonight. So I don't know where you want to start, Nick. I mean, this game started off relatively close, relatively competitive. It was a 5-point game, believe it or not, like halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah.
It was like 45-40, something like that, give or take a couple points. And then the Celtics just
the second
pedal
quarter.
to the metal. Second half of that second quarter, they really extended this game. I think they had a 21-point lead at halftime. Shout out Jaylen Brown. I didn't mention him yet, but he's having a hell of a start to this year, and he's doing it in a different way than what we've seen him do in the past, Nick. I saw a stat, I heard a stat. Shout out to Drew Carter tonight. Jaylen Brown averaging 3.3 mid-range baskets a game this year. 3.3, up from 1 last year. And 3.3, by the way, leads the league, Nick. So the mid-range game is back. Back when you were a fan early on in your days, Nick. They didn't even have a 3-point line, dude.
All right, man. They did. It was called the ABA at that time.
Got you. But it's back. Everything comes full circle, right, Nick? And I think at some point, and again, Celtics took 53s tonight, so we're not going to say they stopped taking threes, but they hit 20. So we'll take that percent or take that number and that percentage any day of the week. But they're not only relying on that, it seems, especially over the last couple of weeks. Feels like they're taking what defenses are giving to them a little bit more, getting to their comfort zone, getting to a clean shot, getting good looks up. And Jaylen Brown, although he might be doing it differently, he's still doing it. You're not seeing the explosive Jaylen Brown that we've seen in past years, whether that's by choice or not. I'm not entirely sure. I guess we'll find out at some point. And you're not seeing Jaylen Brown, hoist, 10 to 12 3-pointers and go, 2 of 10, and everyone's pulling their hair out wondering what the hell's going on. He's kind of crafty. He's kind of shifty. Is that what you're seeing out there too?
Yeah, I mean, it looks as if he's playing within his comfort zone.
And by the way, real quick, not to cut you off, Nick, we get it. Memphis sucks. The Grizzlies suck. Celtics were supposed to win this game. They didn't just win this game, though. They blew the doors off them. So let's just get that out of the way. Nick, continue.
Jimmy, look at the comment that just went up.
I saw it. That's why I just want to get ahead of it. There's other ones like it.
No, I mean
We get it. But guys, guess what? The Celtics might suck too. So we'll take this when we can get it, okay? Let's all just enjoy this one.
Jalen is playing, it seems like, within his comfort zone. And it kind of plays into that, the comment of whether the Celtics suck. I don't think they suck. But
Memphis, not the Celtics.
No, I know. But I don't think the Celtics, you mentioned them.
Right. There's levels to suck. There's levels to the suckage.
There
right?
is.
Okay.
All right, let's stop there.
Deal.
Anyway, Jalen is able to play, I think, within his comfort zone. Whereas in the past, Joe was really pushing for distance, 3, 3, 3. And I never feel like Jalen is completely comfortable shooting the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing
Look
him
at this
playing,
line, though. I mean, 19 points isn't going to blow you away, but the efficiency, 8 of 16 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 2 turnovers. We'll take that any day of the week. 6 assists, 6 rebounds. I mean, you want 30 points from Jalen, and most nights you're probably going to need it. But when you're playing a Grizzlies team, it's good to see him do a little bit of everything and get everybody involved and just play smart basketball.
Yeah. Well, and also not give up a lead, and see the distribution of points across the whole roster.
Right.
The bench performed. It was great to see Hauser actually hit something, not like air.
He didn't make it easy either. Yeah, that was like a 40-footer.
No, but that finally hit one, and they need that. It's a game like this. After a kind of really tough loss against Philadelphia, I was hearing you guys last night just pulling your hair out. John was pulling his hair out.
Poor John. He hopefully he's in bed.
Well, and I think hopefully, John rolled over in midway through the second quarter when they went on that run. He said, "That's it, man. I'm done.
That's it.
Call Gelso. I'm done. Get Gelso."
Just heard F this. Shut the TV off.
But they needed a good game like this after that loss, and I think it really goes. One thing we can't say, the only thing we can say through 13 games or however many it's been is this team is, whether they suck or not, they're going to try hard. They give it effort.
Yep.
I mean, and I think some of the errors we've seen early in the season, especially in crunch time, has been more a product maybe of new personnel, lack of chemistry, inexperience, and Joe trying to feel out what this team is all about, because it's not the team of the last several years where it was shoot 3, shoot 3, shoot 3s. Although they still do shoot 3s, they have to embrace inside the 3-point line as well, because that's really where their strengths are.
100%. And it looks like Joe Mazzulla is coming up to the podium now, so we'll go kick it to him.
Start with John.
Joe, you talked last night about execution. Today you had the end of the first half, big run. You ended with a 3 for 2, a 2 for 1, and you got the layup at the buzzer. What does it mean for the team to actually have that execution, to see the tangible effect, and to carry that through when it's been kind of an issue lately?
Yeah, I mean, those are just things that you have to work to execute. I think we've been aware of those. We've had the process of those, and we just need to keep getting better at it. So it was great awareness by them, and closing quarters is just as important as any other part of the game. And, we were able to do that tonight.
And Derrick White was, kind of like a classic Derrick White game, doing a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's been kind of trying to figure things out as well. What does it mean for him, for the team to finally have one game where it all comes together? Yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, like he has an important job for us, and he's got a lot of responsibility. And I think he's like top in the league in steals and blocks, and he just takes on different roles every night. So he'll just continue to do whatever it takes to help us to win. And tonight it was his scoring, and he was good.
Joe, the 3-point percentage this season might not be necessarily where you want it to be, but 41.2% tonight. You guys shot over 40% in 3 of the 4 quarters. You've been happy with the process. Like, does a night like this kind of validate that process that you've been happy with throughout the season?
I mean, we made shots. I think that would validate the result, is the 41%. Even, I thought we've been getting really good looks and playing good offense, just not seeing the result. And so I think the process has been there. Tonight you kind of saw the result of that, but we got to keep that up every night, and you just got to be able to continue to execute to find good looks.
You guys had a season high 34 assists tonight and only 10 turnovers. Overall, what did you like about the offensive execution?
I mean, the only way you can get assists is if you make a basket. So, I think those, we were able to make some baskets. And like I said, I think we've been playing really good basketball, even when we haven't been getting the shooting percentages in that. And so tonight, our assists are up because we made some. So we just got to keep playing the right way, regardless of how it goes for us. And, the guys do that tonight.
And then a 34-12 advantage in second chance points. Luka had a game-high 5 offensive rebounds. What have you seen just in terms of his effort and his ability to generate those second chance opportunities?
Yeah, he's been good. And I think the last, 3 games he's played some inspired basketball. And, he has a special gift to be able to play just harder than everybody else on the floor. He's got to keep that up for us. And he has a way to get – I think he got one over, 2-3 people there. So he has the ability to kind of do that for us. And, he's been good. So he has to keep playing inspired basketball.
What led to you go to Jordan in the starting 5, and what did you
B-Rob.
Yeah, I just thought it gave us the best chance to win tonight. We'll always do that. And I think he was good. He had 3 fouls on Jaren Jackson in the first half, but I thought his physicality was good. He made some big plays to start the game. I thought we got off to a good start with that offensive rebound, block shot, transition. Got to stop on the first possession. So, he's got to keep getting better and better.
What allows him to guard Jackson, Paolo, as well as like a Tyrese Maxey, like the range of assignments he's gotten? Like, how is he fitting in that sense?
Yeah, I mean, he's athletic, but he works at it. He's smart. I think part of guarding people at different positions is just knowing tendencies, knowing personnel. Him and his player development coach Tyler, they work on that a lot. And he just spends a lot of time in the film room and have an understanding of who he's going against. So it's a difficult job, but he's embracing it.
And the process of coaching young guys for you, like you've had a lot of veterans to be in your coaching career, maybe more young guys playing than ever before begin this year, but they've been here. So you've had relationships with these guys. Like, how has your approach to young players evolved over time?
I mean, that's what I did the first, before I became a coach and the head coach. It's all I worked with was young guys. So just relying on that experience, and it doesn't matter the age. You just got to build relationships with guys. You got to communicate. You got to have an understanding of each other, and you got to work to get the best out of each other. So the age or the experience doesn't matter, but just the process of how you build it.
Joe, you said Luka has a special ability to play harder than everybody else. I'm curious, is that something that in general you do meet guys, like whether in training camp or whatever else, and just say like, hey, that guy has that ability and that guy doesn't, and he has to learn that skill?
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you teach that skill if they don't necessarily have that innately?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways. It just depends on that particular person. How you connect with that person. It's just different for everybody. Sometimes it's an extrinsic motivation, sometimes it's an intrinsic motivation. It's just different for each guy.
With Luka, you knew right away that he had that? You met him?
Mm-hmm.
Joe, last night you mentioned you liked the offensive process you guys had earlier, but shots didn't fall. I'm curious if you saw a difference in the offensive process, if it was the same tonight versus last night. Like, what was there any difference there in your?
I just made them.
And then, how do you fight the natural, like, the negative side to both of them? Like when they're not going in, like guys putting their head down, and when they are going in, maybe settling. Like, how do you manage the positives and negatives that come with both of those types of things?
I mean, just like anything else, just balance. It's a balance. I mean, you're never going to get 100% of something or 0% of something. It's just a balance. And so, I think you just build awareness to that balance and you kind of go from there.
Joe, was this kind of an important response after last night? You guys lost a really tough one, and to come back and kind of like cruise, and tonight you kind of made things easier on yourself. You made things harder as a team with the mistakes sometimes, but it seems like tonight was where you just kind of continue to build.
Yeah, I mean, to answer that, I think I forgot what your question was because I was trying to listen to you. I think it's more about I like the mindset that we had coming, like you said, coming off of a tough game on the road, losing the way that we did, to come back and just play the way that we did. Yeah, I think that's important for our group and how we understand that. And we don't have the record or the results to show for it, but I think we've built a mindset and a resilience to that could benefit us in the long run as long as we keep chipping away at it and we work to execute in our effort and our toughness. But yeah, I think, coming into a situation where we got 2 practices now that we can get better, but ending this small little stretch with the bounce back win, I think is important for this team. And I liked how they handled the game tonight, right from the beginning of the game.
And what do you know more about your team after 13 games?
That we care. Yeah, that there's a high care factor and there's a high competitive factor. And I think over the course of a season, you can do a lot with that. And so we just got to continue to get better. I think we have a humility to know we're not playing the way we want to, but we also know we're playing hard and we can get so much better. And so that's why I'm excited about these next 2 days of practice.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
We'll have Derek in here. Luka in
All right. And there's Coach Joe Mazzulla after the Celtics defeat the Memphis Grizzlies. Ended on something that I want to hit on right away, Nick, is that the difference with the Celtics team is that they care. And that might be the difference in when you look at the score, 131-95, you look at the Celtics team that clearly cares. And you look at a Grizzlies team that, and again, I know they didn't have Ja Morant tonight, but even when they do they care much? Like, is there much care there?
I mean, that team is so lifeless, listless, leaderless.
Yeah.
They're just
tough situation over there.
You know what they look like, Jimmy? You know, when you're playing at the Y and it's like the third pickup game and you're just kind of dogging it. That's kind of how they look. And Ja Morant, if you want me to rip it all tonight, don't get me started about Ja Morant. You know, I mean,
we want to ask you this. We want to ask you a question, Nick, and Bailey's going to toss it up on the screen. This is for Nick. Should the Celtics trade for Ja Morant? Yes.
No.
Or
Fuck
heck
no.
no. Nick,
Fuck no.
You can't say that.
Fuck no.
Okay. All right. Bailey, get the
answer is no. I don't want him anywhere near this team. The Celtics have had a long tradition of rehabilitating.
We'll toss the poll up anyways, just so we can see. Make sure. We want to make sure that that's how Celtics fans feel. By the way, Nick, I'm right there with you, but go on.
Yeah, but I mean, they do have a long tradition of rehabilitating, you know, some sorry reputations when they come to Boston. But I don't want to play that game with Ja Morant. I look at him as a bad employee. Like this time of the year, Jimmy, is renewals time for this company, right? All we are doing is contracts.
Who's getting one? Who's not?
Negotiating, trying to get the 2026 sponsorships.
Is it bad that my phone hasn't rung yet for 2020?
Yes. No. But I do have a point in this. It made me think about it with Ja Morant, right? This dude, he if I didn't follow our contract obligations the way he doesn't follow his in any way, shape, or form, I would be we would not have this show anymore. We'd be out of business.
Well, you just dropped a bunch of F-bombs, so we might not.
It annoys the hell out of me that Ja Morant is. If I am Memphis, I'm not caring what I get in return. I'm trading him to the worst destination possible, the worst situation he could possibly go to, just to send a message across the bow. Like, you're not going to F with our front office, because what this guy has done since that standout year has been an abomination and a really, really, really bad look for the entire NBA. That's the rant. Keep him out of here, Ja Morant.
Yeah, I think I feel similar. I just don't. To me, you call them a bad employee. I think that's a great way to put it. And it's really on Ja Morant to change the culture, to change like the perception, to create an environment of people who care and players who care and a front office and coaching staff that wants to win.
Jimmy, he's getting paid $250 million, man. What do you think he's being paid for? Not just to
sit his ass on the bench. I get criticized the coaching staff. I was with an injury tonight, but needless to say, it's been a disaster for quite a while, and it's too bad because the way things started out for him, it felt like Memphis was going to be really a team that nobody wanted to mess with for a while.
Yes.
Right? Bane is gone now. I mean, the team is changing very, very quickly, and it, not for the better either. And it's too bad because Ja Morant is, the head of the snake, and not in a good way. The comment right there says he's locker room cancer. Hard to argue against that. And I think, if you're a team that really has, again, if you're a team that has not much going for them, maybe why not? Take a risk. I don't know what it's going to cost
Or
you.
if you want to put
obviously
assets
with
in the
contracts and such, you're going to match money and all this stuff. But as far as assets go, it might be worth it to teams out there to take a risk on a guy if they're in a situation where they can. If you're on the cusp of a championship, or if you feel like you've got a great environment or team chemistry and you don't want to mess things up, I wouldn't go anywhere near that because it's just too much of a risk. So a lot of talent's there, but Ja Morant's biggest, issue is himself. If he can get out of his own way, if he can surround himself with the right people and in the right environment and focus on basketball and be one of the top players in the world that we all pretty much know he can be,
and want him to be.
That's a different story. Yeah, right.
I want him to be. That team looks. You said it. They look.
I'm told the people have spoken, Nick. It's a landslide for no. So if Bill Chisholm, I'm told, is a fan of the show, Celtics owner. Bill, if you're watching, the people have spoken. Don't even think about it. We don't want to deal with Ja Morant. So on to the next idea for next season. We'll leave it at that. I don't want to get Nick any more upset than we already got him here. We don't want to go full boomer. He went like half boomer, which we like.
Half boomer. The employee thing did hit well because really that's what it is.
Yeah. I'd like to hope that I'm not the Ja Morant of CLNS, Nick.
Jimmy, you've been here 14 years or something. I don't think you can be. You're like the Robert Parrish of.
Oh God, I'm the chief.
No, the Paul Pierce of CLNS.
Okay, deal.
14 seasons, baby.
Just don't let me drive after a night out. Let's
no poker parlors.
No poker. Let's reel it back in for a minute here. Let's get back to the game. We talked a lot about this in the show last night, just the starting lineup and whether or not Jordan Walsh should start. Sure enough, what happens tonight? Jordan Walsh finds himself in the starting lineup. Nick finishes a plus 19, 7.6 rebounds, 3 of 7 from the field. Again, not numbers that are going to jump out at you, but the defense continues to be strong. How many blocks did he have? He had a couple blocks and blocks that I can actually remember. Nice contested shots, right? One was right in the basket in the paint there. He had a couple nice ones yesterday too. So Jordan Walsh continues to do his thing, has earned himself, I would say, a spot in this starting lineup. And again, that doesn't mean that it's going to be his for the rest of the year. I don't think anyone thinks that. I don't think he thinks that. But Joe Mazzulla is going by what's working right now for him, right? Keep it together, Nick. And Jordan Walsh continues to play strong defense. There was a point in that fourth quarter, Nick. Pay attention.
Jimmy, look at the comment.
Jimmy's barely 21. He's been there for. Yeah, I'm. They got me at a very young
Jimmy
age.
started when he was 7.
Feels like it, honestly.
It does. And Jimmy, if you look at those old videos,
nobody wants to listen to the history of the CLNS right now, Nick. All right, we'll do a separate show on that.
All right.
Now I lost my train of thought. Jordan Walsh. There was a point in the fourth quarter where it wasn't just Walsh, but Walsh was making awesome defensive plays. Gonzalez was making awesome defensive plays. Minot was catching, lobs from Pritchard. Yeah. And, Pritchard was running the show. And I was like, this is like the most kind of sneaky fun I've had watching the Celtics all year in a way. Where you get contributions from all these players that you were just praying. Even Baylor Shireman tonight was doing some good things out there.
Yep.
Okay. So you really were getting contributions from all over, literally top to bottom. Ron Harper Jr. got on the score sheet tonight.
Yeah.
Nick. I'd love to get Ron Harper Jr. on the show someday and pick his brain on what it was like growing up with Ron Harper as your dad.
Ron Harper.
What's Michael Jordan like when you're, 8 years old or whatever, right? So, or actually younger, way younger. Probably wasn't even
younger. He wasn't even born. He wasn't even born. He wasn't born.
Sad. Yeah, but he's probably heard stories. Anyways, contributions from all over. But I wanted to get your opinion on Jordan Walsh, not just tonight, but over the last, week or two here, where he's really started to kind of create an identity for himself. And again, you look at the stat sheet, and it's not about the offense with Jordan Walsh, right? And he even passed up a couple shots tonight that maybe he would take. But he's out there for one thing, and that's to get stops and to get the ball going back in transition, and he did that tonight.
He obviously the defense is there, but he's been the most controlled, and that's relating to becoming impactful. Tonight, plus 19, 18 minutes, and the defense is up there. It's there, of course, but he hasn't been forcing anything, and you could see that he's starting to play with confidence. And you could hear even on the you could hear even on the broadcast the way they're talking about him. And don't think these players don't rewatch the game the next day, so they're going to hear that stuff, and you're going to see that probably continue to grow in him, hopefully. But game by game, dude, I mean, his lockdown defense last night was impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive. And
I mean, he took on Maxey.
Everybody has been begging for it, right? Begging to see it. And it's just one of those things that you need a season like this, where it's kind of a holding pattern season, when guys that have been in the system and working through Maine and everything else can then really grow into a player that's going to really make a difference and be either a great trade chip this summer, or B, a bench contributor on a contending team when Tatum gets back.
Yeah, I mean, and Walsh is only 21. Came into the league as a
Tatum's only
19-year-old.
19.
I know, that's crazy too.
Brown, yeah.
All these guys are young. All these guys are still very, very young and up and coming. But Walsh specifically, though, drafted second rounder, not really much clout, not really much of a role, clearly, on a team like the Celtics at that time that had championship aspirations. Credit to him, kept doing his thing in Maine, kept putting in the work, putting in the time. Credit to Noah and Bobby for going up there and watching a lot of those games and reporting back, because they could have honestly told us anything. We would have believed it.
Jimmy, I saw, not to interrupt, but I saw Noah's Twitter when she was down in Orlando. She had a picture of the Orlando court and the media monitor in front of her with the main Red Claws game playing.
That is dedication.
While the Celtics game is playing. And it made me think of Max. Remember, you'd sit behind Max and he'd have Connect 4 on his.
I was going to say.
He'd be playing poker or whatever on it, watching National
Dude, don't put his spot like that, man.
He says it. He has said it before.
You're right. Anyone could just walk by and see that, actually. He has no shame.
Yeah. Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. So I love Max, but that is not Noah. Noah's got like 3 games going at once. She's probably watching the rerun of a game as a new game is going on. So that's why she's
got WNBA Noah on her watch. She's got WNBA on her iWatch. Maine. Anyway, we're way off the rails here.
So that's Jordan Walsh, and again, another good performance from Walsh in the starting lineup. I think you'll probably see him there again. Until either he plays his way out or somebody else does something to earn their way in. It could be matchup based in a way as well, but I think getting Minot, and by the way, Minot played more minutes than Walsh off the bench. It wasn't like this major demotion that Minot didn't see the court tonight, but Joe's just plugging pieces in and seeing what works, and that's exactly what he should be doing. You've got after Brown and White, and you can toss Pritchard in there, I guess, because he has been getting a lot of I would say respect from Joe. It can go anywhere in this line. These lineups can be anybody really on any given night. You could have anyone plugging those starting lineups, or coming first, second, or third off the bench. And the great thing, and again, Joe said it at the end of his press conference, is that you can tell that these players care. There's a lot on the line for them personally, right? I mean, some of these guys are playing for, their spot in the league next year, their next contract, whether or not they're ever going to have to work a real job in their lives, right? Some of them are maybe that could be in the back of their minds, right? So the effort, the intensity, the will to want to play not only good for yourself, but good for your teammates and try to do what you can to win is there. And we haven't even mentioned this guy yet. Shame on us, Nick.
Derrick White.
No. Off the bench. Luka freaking Garza.
Coming in. Impactful tonight.
Coming in. This is Bailey's guy from Minnesota as well. You got Minot and Garza from Minnesota, right? And Garza a little bit late to the game here, not literally to this game, but to the scene, if you will. Garza coming on. He dealt with a little concussion, I think, early on in the year. But really, though, when he's in there, Nick, he's got one thing on his mind: get that basketball. Whether it's offensive rebounds, whether it's defensive rebounds. I think he had 5 offensive rebounds tonight. 7
Jimmy,
total.
that's one of the things with this team. They actually rebound like that, and when he's out
They
there,
try.
There's our nights where they don't, but tonight I'm talking about in particular. I mean, they rebounded, and Garza was all over that. They were dominating the offensive glass, but then again, Memphis was playing in Brazil. I don't know where they were tonight. They weren't at Boston Garden.
Yeah.
But
Memphis didn't make it tonight, but
Derrick
for
White
the players that
finally
did.
starting to not look like.
Don't jump to White yet. I want to stay
All
on
right,
Garza
all
for a
right.
second.
Okay, go ahead.
I just, again, like this is a player that's filling an actual need too for this team, right? Because what was the huge issue coming into the season? Bigs, rebounds, a paint presence, physicality. And Garza seems like he's not going to lead the league in no one's jumping to these outrageous conclusions here, guys. We're all watching the same games, but when you watch the games, you see a guy in Garza who has that intensity, has that motor, has that, willingness to just do whatever it freaking takes to, get that basketball or, set that screen or run down. He's not the fastest guy on the court, certainly, but he's getting up and down the court there. So Joe Mazzulla spoke highly of him too tonight in this press conference, a guy that he just knew went the extra. I don't know the exact wording. I don't want to misquote Mazzulla, but it was Noah's question. So we'll have Noah.
Save it for Noah. They're setting up.
We'll save it for Noah because she was the one who kind of dove into it there a little bit. And point being is that Garza has really stepped up here. And, good for Keita because, again, I'm not saying that Garza's going to replace Keita. Keita's having a great season and a great start to the season in and of itself. But it's great to have a guy like Garza to come in and spell that because Keita's not a guy, as we've come to see, that's going to be able to give you 30, 35 minutes a game. His wind is not there. I mean, there was a halftime, there was a little quick halftime interview with Abby a couple games ago where I thought Keita was going to pass out before he could finish the sentence. That was at the end of the second quarter. So not quite there yet with Keita with the wind. But if you get a guy like Garza,
a lot this summer. He played a lot of basketball.
Yeah, but some
summer.
guys just have extra wind, and other guys don't. But again, Keita 13 and 8 tonight, 6 of 6, perfect. It's a Perkins line, Nick. 6 of 6 from the field, and a plus 27. So he had plus 19 from Walsh, plus 27 from Keita. You mentioned White, plus 22. 20 points for White, 6 of 11 from the field, and 3 of 6 from 3. More importantly, you want to see White start to get going. But who do you think led the team, Nick, in plus minus tonight? I'll give you one guess, and then I'll just tell you so we don't do this for 20 minutes.
Well,
we haven't talked about him much yet. Sparky guy, real Sparky out there.
Not Hugo Gonzalez. No, I don't.
No, he did not lead the team in plus minus.
No,
that would be Payton Pritchard.
Oh, well,
Mr. Spark himself.
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. A plus.
He was great tonight.
42. A plus 42 for Payton Pritchard. What? And I thought this was the best game of his season. And again, 24 points. I mean, the stats are going to show that too. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 of 10 from 3. But if you actually watched him, plus 40 freaking 2. If you actually watched him out there, Nick, too, though, passed the eye test. This guy was all over the place, up and down the court. He had that great coast to coast to end the second quarter. Really gave the Celtics just a little bit of an extra boost going in a halftime there. But his court vision tonight was awesome. Finding guys, no-look passes, lobs to players, and, of course, the three-point shots falling and the shots falling. So everything else is just gravy on top. But in order for the Celtics to look like the team they looked like tonight, regardless of the opponent, and again, we get it. It's the Memphis Grizzlies. They suck. Pick another team. If the Celtics are still getting performances like this or close, and again, consider the opponent, but 5 of 10 from 3 from Pritchard, 50% as a team from 3. 40% from 3 for a team. Jaylen Brown, the way he's playing, scoring from all over the court, the mid-range game. Derrick White getting things going. Even Hauser hitting a 3 tonight. And then you're getting some real production from your center position, Keita, Garza. And then the kids, right? You've got Walsh, you've got Minot, you've got Gonzalez. You've got these guys that are all starting to sort of maybe gel together and kind of band together as a team. And I believe Joe when he says he's pumped for the next 2 days of practice because the Celtics don't play until Sunday, by the way. And they've had I think they've played the most games of any team in the league. So there hasn't been a lot of practice time to work on things. But I'm sure that Joe Mazzulla and the coaching staff have a laundry list of things that they're going to want to work on. They're going to want to show the guys, whether it's in film or whatnot. And I'm expecting a more put together team, even from what we saw tonight moving forward. But Payton Pritchard tonight, you got to be thrilled by that performance because when we're talking about Pritchard this year, Nick, it hasn't been great. And last night on the chat,
I know
you had just about everybody saying Simons over Pritchard.
John was probably saying that because
John's been saying it, but John's not the only one. And I would say, honestly, to this point, I think Simons has had the better start to the year. But again, when you get a game like you did tonight for Pritchard, it reminds you of why they stick with this guy and why they want him in the starting lineup and what he's capable of.
And I think it also puts things in perspective to where when you lose the amount of key players on a championship team, you lose Holiday, Pritchard, Tatum, all these guys are gone. Pritchard for one, is maybe for the first time not playing without high skill guys, so there's going to be a point of adjustment. And you've seen it where he struggled, where Derrick White has struggled early on. They're getting the ball in different areas. Things are just different, not flowing through Tatum. So I think it's going to take time. And I think the biggest takeaway from tonight for me is, and we've mentioned it a couple times, is that statement by Joe, because it correlates directly to him saying they care, because it correlates directly to a shit ass loss last night, with poor execution, to not coming in and hanging your head or pointing fingers, blame shifting. And that also goes to the leadership of Jaylen Brown, because he was terrible last night in the last possession of the game. And he took defensively, he was way out of step. And he never not takes accountability and full-throatedly takes the responsibility for a loss or his performance if it was poor. And I think that it also is to be admired because he's the leader of this team right now. I mean, he is the leader. So he shows those attributes well.
Yeah, and I mean, we credit Jaylen Brown. He stood up there last night and he admitted that he screwed that one up, and it is what it is. But with Pritchard, he's
everything seemed to come together for you tonight. Just how does it feel to have a game where everything just sort of clicked for you?
It felt good. Just going out there and just trying to be me. Try not to think too much about everything. Just kind of go out there, have fun, playing a game I love, and I think I did that tonight.
The whole team, organization preaches the process over results. But you still need results every once in a while to kind of keep you sane. Where were you mentally, after like a little bit of a struggle, and how does this kind of help you along as you continue that process throughout the regular season?
I was frustrated, obviously, especially like when you think you're getting good looks that you shouldn't knock down. It's definitely frustrating, but I mean, everybody just stuck with me. I still got a long way to go. Just 'cause I shot it well today doesn't mean anything. So, but just trying to trust the process, trust my form, continue to get those good looks, and sticking with it. So it's definitely frustrating, but it's all part of the journey, I guess.
Derek, kind of building off that, you guys as a team shot 41% from three. Is that something that kind of is easy to build off once you finally get one of those nights that you see the shots fall?
Yeah, I think we've been getting a lot of good looks, especially shots that that we want to take. And so P went 5 for 10 tonight. And so it's nice to see, I feel like me and him both been back and forth, who's struggling more. And so it's good to see them knock down shots when you're getting the looks that we've been getting. So 11 games or 13 games. And so something that we got to continue to fight for those good looks and shoot them with confidence.
I was just going to ask about that. Payton was talking in the locker room about how he was really frustrated with his last few games, and he's kind of breaking through out of that right now. When you guys are both in shooting slumps, you've been teammates for a long time. Like, are you guys having conversations of like, let's try this, or like watching your shots back, being like, is it like a bonding thing, or is it almost worse that it's like compiling and there's multiple guys going through the same thing?
I mean, sometimes it's tough because everybody's kind of like talking to you about it. Like everybody's like, keep trying, keep shooting, keep like, we believe in you. And you just hear that from every person. So you kind of sometimes want to just give them some space and let him process it his own way. I mean, everybody kind of has their own way of getting through slumps and getting through tough times. And I mean, P knows we got the ultimate amount of trust in him that this is just a little slump, and we keep getting those looks that he's been getting that will start turning for us.
Derek, sort of along those lines, you mentioned the frustration, obviously. Has there been anything or that you've done to sort of get out of that? Anybody in particular that's helped you? Like, what has been the process for you individually of sort of like trying to push through that? Has there been anything specific that you've done, or is it just a matter of doing it?
I think I've tried almost everything. Just trying a little bit of everything, trying to break out of it. But like everybody around me has definitely been supportive. I mean, obviously, I'm with Matt a lot. He's been amazing. Just trying to keep my confidence going, and just pulling different clips and just keeping me going throughout it all. And so just having people in my support system that are texting me, talking to me, believing in me, and it all kind of helps me stay confident.
Derek, one thing about Payton is that he's always consistent. Rain or shine, slump or not, he's always out there. How much does that help the team to have a guy that is always out there, always available?
Yeah, he's the ultimate competitor. Always out there competing, doing whatever he can to help us win games. And so P's been an unbelievable teammate. It's been great getting to know him, and every night that you're going to get someone that's going to compete at the highest level.
Derek, in the last few years with the talent you've had, you've been able to win even when you're not at your best because you've had 5 or 6 guys who come through. The margin for error was larger. What's it like to adjust to this season where a missed block out, Drummond knocking the ball, whether he fouled you or not, Drummond knocking the ball from you, like the little things can mean victory or loss. What's it like to adjust when you have to be more precise?
Yeah, it's obviously a little different, but we got a younger team, guys that are kind of learning on the fly, and so just kind of learning each and every game of what works for us, what doesn't work for us. I mean, we keep talking about the process, and I think for the past couple of years, we've had people that have been here and done that, and so those little mistakes, they kind of happen a little bit more often. And so just something that we're continuing to learn about, continue to grow from. Everybody's super bought in and super open to learning and growing and seeing what we need to do to win these games. And so we got a long way to go, and I think a lot of teams think they got a lot of room for growth. And so we're just like everybody else.
All right, that was Derrick White. Let me see if I can get this back here. Looks like we got another. Here he is. Look at this. It's Bobby Manning, everybody.
What's up?
In the flesh.
Bobby.
Bobby, I hate to do this to you, but I want to get a quick ad read in before we get to you. Is that cool?
Go
I'm going
ahead.
to do a quick prize picks read. Bailey, hit me with the prize picks, if you don't mind. Guys, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. And of course, the basketball season is, kicking into gear. But guys, football's here too. All right. Patriots are playing Thursday night. CLNS is going to have full coverage before, during, after, all week after it. But you want to get your Prize Picks in. Follow along during the game. It's been a lot of fun watching the Pats this year, but obviously Prize Picks can take it to another level. It's a simple way to play.
More
Just
on
pick
there.
more or less. More on May. More or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. And yeah, of course, more on May. More on Diggs. More touchdowns on Diggs.
That should be a t-shirt, Jimmy.
It should be. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out of your lineup, even if it isn't perfect. You can double your money, even if one of your picks doesn't hit. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app today. Use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And it's good to be Bobby Manning on a night like tonight, because this is a night that I imagine you and Noah, Bobby, were probably grinning from ear to ear watching this game as the kids did their thing. Jordan Walsh got his start. Payton Pritchard got back on everybody's good side, I think, with a vintage performance. And the Celtics, again, they moved to 6-7 here on the season. And the Memphis Grizzlies, not really quite in the same stratosphere. And I think Joe mentioned something at the end of his press conference that stood out, is that this Celtics team, they just care. And it felt like that was on display tonight from top to bottom. Guys contributing no matter when, no matter how. Just whenever they got the call, they were getting help from, whether it's Garza, whether it's Pritchard, whether it's Brown, whether it's, you name them, Bobby. It felt like this was one of those performances where everybody was just locked in.
Yeah, for sure. And I was trying to think, obviously they demolished Memphis. Shots went down tonight. It was just a wall-to-wall performance for them. But I'm trying to think, all right, what was the story to this one? Walsh starts, and he was impactful early, made some plays, took on the Jackson assignment, but he ended up in some foul trouble. And, this wasn't the Walsh game, right? Garza did some things off the bench. He had another rock-solid performance. But it wasn't like a Garza game by any means.
No, it was a great Garza game, but it wasn't, all about Garza, of course.
Yeah, so you're going through the post-game sound here, and I can't wait to play the Pritchard one, because Pritchard knew what he wanted to say going into this press conference. Really didn't matter what we asked. He had something on his mind, which sometimes happens, and he wanted to talk about just how much of a struggle it's been over the last week or so here for him. And I think we've heard bits and pieces about that to begin the season, him overthinking, him not shooting the way he normally would, him having to get to other spots on the floor. It's been a strange start to the year for him, even though he's found ways outside of his three-point shot to be effective. But I thought he gave a awesome post-game press conference after this game that we should listen to here.
Well, without further ado, how about that tease? We'll just go straight into the Pritchard sound here, Bobby. And I know you were in there for it, so we'll go right back to Bobby out of this just to get your take on what was said.
Yeah, it became the story of the night, I thought, his comments.
I want to get Nick's reaction to it as well, because this is a special treat to have the Podfather in here tonight. So let's go to Pritchard and see what we got.
Lineup. And what's been like to see him into his third year start to find himself as a player?
He's been doing a great job defending,
get it here.
Being really active, and then one thing I keep stressing with him is just keep being a ball player. So if you're open, shoot it with confidence.
We're gonna have to figure this out.
Attack and close out. Don't forget what got you here.
Well, we got the sound.
Little technical difficulty as we try to figure out the setting here.
There he is.
There's something. Let's try that again.
I've been working with him pretty closely since he.
Let's start that over if we can, Bailey.
Jordan give you in the starting lineup, and what's been like to see him into his third year start to find himself as a player?
He's been doing a great job defending, being really active, and then one thing I keep stressing with him is just keep being a ball player. So if you're open, shoot it with confidence and attack and close out. Don't forget what got you here.
You've been working with him pretty closely since he first got here. What are the biggest differences you're seeing just in his approach as well as his game?
Honestly, I just think he's been more professional. And
he's begging you to ask about him, Bobby.
And now he's ready for the moment. So, and just stressing.
Yeah, I came with the wrong question for this one.
Come hungry still every day and keep pushing.
You were at plus 42 tonight. Do you feel like, I guess, first of all, what led to that? Or do you feel like you're kind of starting to find your footing?
I was very disappointed in myself these last two games. Kind of down in the dumps a little bit, just overthinking the last two games. Didn't like myself at all. going home last night, this morning, like just like hungry to attack this game and just like get back into the flow, get back in the rhythm, but just playing with instincts and just like pushing the pace. But yeah, just it was good to bounce back for those two because I definitely wasn't myself, so it was more me.
What did you do to get back? Like what? You know, you
I
wake up.
just was kind of in a funk, actually. Like, just didn't play with the same juice, same energy, no pace. But honestly, it just went back to I got a haircut this morning.
We noticed that.
Yeah, so like sometimes you got to go back to those things. Did my routine this morning, woke up and just like have the mindset that I was going to come in and. You know, it wasn't about scoring, but it was about like just, you know, when I got the ball, I'm going to push it as fast as possible, attacking, and just like playing that way. And I feel like that's when I'm playing that way.
That's something knowing like
Painful
you have a
right
larger
now,
load, you
audio.
have more responsibility that you have to remind yourself to get back to just playing basketball.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, it's just the last two games, it was just a lot of like overthinking. It was like, is this the right shot? Is this the right pass? Is this the right time to drive? It's just instead of like just playing with instinct. And I'm sure like everybody saw it. People that I know that are close to me, obviously, were telling me about this, that I look like myself, and I didn't feel myself. So, like I said, just was motivated to come out here tonight.
Along those lines, Joe mentioned last night how he said he thought the process was good, but the shots weren't falling. Like you were talking about a little bit, how hard is it to avoid the natural, emotion of like frustration when the shots aren't falling, and then push forward? And how does a night like tonight sort of like flip that?
Well, I mean, I feel like, tonight we play with like a lot faster pace. So I feel like it helped everybody kind of get into a rhythm just when we're playing like that. But I mean, some games you're not going to hit shots, and we figured out a way that we should have probably won the game, and we didn't. But I think the biggest goal is just like chipping away each game and trying to get a little bit better and better. And,
All right, Bailey, we're good with this.
Once we hit January.
All right, that was a choppy Payton Pritchard as we try to fight through some
I stopped listening 5 minutes
connection
ago.
issues there, but the point was made. The point was made when they finally were able to. I think we got what you wanted to hear, right, Bobby?
Yeah, the down on himself.
Yeah.
Overthinking everything, when the shoot, when the pass, that sort of stuff. It's great to hear a player admit something like that when that's what you're watching out on the court, which to a large degree we've seen from him this year. Now, I still wonder why that is. Is it the bigger role? Is it the amount of pressure that's on him? Like, we keep having this discussion, and not to turn it into Pritchard Simons again necessarily, as we talk about ad nauseum here, but is he in the right position to succeed on this team right now? Is he just missing shots? Do they need to put him in a different position here? Again, I'm still fine with him starting. I'm still fine with seeing this out for a little longer here. I think he's the right player for the starting spot next to White, and then you figure everything else out from there. But we are seeing stuff from him, some inconsistencies, some highs and lows to begin this year that, as I've mentioned, I know John feels this way when he's been here, like, it shouldn't be a lock that Pritchard's starting games. It shouldn't be a lock that he's closing games necessarily here just because he's been here. Now, I think he's been slightly better on the whole than Simons this year, but it's not by miles and miles. Like, tonight's what you want to see from him: in control of the game, defending, active, able to push the pace. Some of that stuff's out of his control, but there are a lot of things he can control that, he needs to start to hammer down more consistently to be, the third option on this team. And that's a big role, right? Like, White has taken a big leap going from fourth or fifth to second. It's a big leap to go from sixth, if we want to call it that, with Pritchard, the sixth man, to third pretty definitively on this team. So it's a whole different ball game, especially with teams pressuring, especially with teams putting more emphasis on trying to force turnovers and go full court and all the stuff we've seen this year. And he's a guy who can normally do a lot, but now he's being asked to do a lot every single night. It's not a bonus if he does it. He has to do it. So I'm sure that's an adjustment for him. Like, he's been able to sneak past the defense, the attention of the other team. Remember Doc the other year, Nick was like, I had him circled. No one was talking about him, but I circled Pritchard's name. He was he was under the radar to that degree the last couple of years here. And now I'm sure every single scouting report is take the pocket three away from Pritchard, stop his dribble, all that stuff.
this was the perfect game though for Pritchard because it was a free flowing. He was able to listen. Everything you just said, Bobby, basically was able to get done tonight. It was a perfect game for him against a team that really didn't show up. I mean, I still am trying to figure out what city Memphis is in right now. The Grizzlies are in right now because they were not in at TD Garden tonight. That was really that. You know, I wish the media squared off against that team. I think you guys maybe would have scored 6 points.
Got him. No, I just watching that Pritchard press conference. It's I guess a little refreshing in a way to see a player, be honest with what he was kind of going through mentally and the second guessing and, questioning what he should be doing out there in the court and just not remembering, having to remember like, hey, I'm Payton freaking Pritchard. I'm the defending sixth man of the year. I belong here, whether it's starting, whether it's coming off the bench. When I'm out there in the court, I can do things that nobody else can do. Like that's the mindset that he's got to get back to having. And we saw it tonight. And I'm glad that he went in with the mindset of he wanted to push the basketball because we saw that. How many times did he just get out in the break and just zip by guys? I mentioned it early on the show, Bobby, right before the halftime, his coast to coast drive kind of really, I think, just completely deflated Memphis, but also just sparked the Celtics heading into that, heading into halftime. I think it was a perfect example of where both teams were in that moment. You had the Celtics flying up and down the court, building this big, great lead and feeling confident about themselves. And then you had the Grizzlies who just couldn't wait to get in the locker room and allowed that, basket to kind of happen. And the second half was just, it picked up right where it left off. And I think Payton Pritchard really stirred the drink tonight. And I think they got to have to get that a little bit more out of him. And, credit to him for admitting that, he hasn't been that player to this point. And sometimes all it takes is a haircut. I think, Bobby, we've been in the barber chair before.
Yeah.
You walk out of there feeling like
Or
a new
shaved.
man. Yeah, we're shaved. Yes. We can all agree on that.
Yep.
Tonight was a big game for accomplishing a lot, though. You got White out of his slump, probably. Pritchard's looking more like Pritchard. And Walsh continues to play lockdown defense, and he's getting a little more confidence as he's growing into a role with this team. Joe played Simons a reasonable amount of minutes tonight, I think. But, there wasn't that
21
out
off
of the game.
Simons was nothing tonight, which is
I know, but he played right because he's constantly jerking with his minutes. It seems.
Well, he ended up with 21 off the bench. I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there that think Simon should get closer to 30, right? So again, but when you have a game, what are you going to do? Take Pritchard out of the game? I mean, you're not going to do that on a night like tonight, but he set the tone. And, you could tell early on that Pritchard had it going tonight. Even his court vision alone, Bobby, I thought was on another level than it has been.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if they've done one thing as a backcourt, White and Pritchard this year, they've managed the ball control perfectly. Like their assist to turnover ratio, both of them, has been out of this world. Never turning it over, racking up tons and tons of assists. I was looking at the ball time hierarchy on the team a game or two ago, and I was actually surprised to see that it's Pritchard, White, I forget what order, probably White, Pritchard, and then Jalen. So, Jalen has allowed those guys to set the table. Jalen has allowed those guys to bring the ball up because there's a world where Jalen could have been like, I'm dominating the ball this year. I'm doing everything. This is going to be my year. And he has deferred to those guys in that aspect. So, he's getting off the ball. He's allowing those guys to set him up, play close to the basket. I'm sure you love that, Nick, the fact that he's forced the issue from 2.
Love the mid-range
His 3
game.
hasn't been there.
Yeah, I love
and the
that.
3, how many threes did they shoot tonight, Jimmy? Because that's been steadily
50.
trending down for a week. Okay, so they were back.
But, I mean,
This is the type of game they're going to heat threes.
Right. I mean, you're up 30 going into
There's some
whatever it was.
garbage time too. I'm sure the threes were flying there.
But they were also but they hit 20 of them. So I mean, you'll take that, right? I mean, again, you're getting your guy.
It's still their superpower.
I mean, Ron Harper Jr. is hitting threes. So I mean, it's this isn't a game where you're.
How many threes did he take?
I don't know how many he took, but I saw him hit one. So that's enough for me.
I mean, sometimes in the garbage time, guys like that come in and shoot like 7 threes in 3 minutes.
Right. I mean, it's a good question. He actually ended up taking. He took 2 and he hit both.
Oh, nice.
So
good to see him around.
Shout out Ron Harper Jr. We love that. Shireman took 3 and hit 2. Garza took
Nice.
3 and hit 2. Simons hit 2. So your bench came through tonight with 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 threes. So half your threes came from the bench tonight. Which,
Simon hit one of those in real minutes because
right.
I watch up until the garbage time begins, and then I get out of there. I start setting up for postgame. I can't watch garbage time. It's tough. But
Garbage time was kind of fun tonight. I would recommend going back to watch the fourth quarter. I mean, I understand not doing that, but there was a point tonight, Bobby, where it just felt like the kids were just zipping around. You're like, okay, Gonzalez is doing something. Garza's doing something. Minot's doing something. Pritchard's involved. So it was kind of nice. And, you don't get a lot of those, right? So I don't know how many of those we're going to get this year. So it's something different, and opportunity to maybe see some guys in a situation where you might not see him as much. But is Noah ready to jump on? Because we'll let you sneak away for a second, Bobby, if you guys want to set up. Is she in the area or no?
I think we're searching for her, I'd imagine.
Oh, okay. I for some reason thought that, but I'll wait. I'm gonna do the ad read anyways. We'll do Omaha. Bailey, hit me with the Omaha. Omaha. All right. Everyday dinners and effortless entertaining to unforgettable gifts. Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. And guys, the holidays are coming up. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Nick, you going to Pennsylvania?
I am, and I swear to God, I sent Omaha Steaks to Pennsylvania. Here's what happened. I got them for myself here in Boston, and they were this is God's honest, they were so damn good that I ordered a pork roast and a bunch of filet mignons to go home for the holidays. And when I'm there, I'll cook them at my mom's house. But damn, they did not disappoint. And with that site, everybody in the country is talking about beef prices being up through the roof. Yeah. Omaha's giving 50% off on select items, and you get the promo code with what is our discount?
Bailey, run that again. I was loving some of those pictures. Yeah, so with the code Patriots at checkout, you're gonna get $35 off. Use the promo code Patriots, and that's on top of the 50% off site wide. So right now, they're offering an exclusive lineup of USDA certified tender steaks, and their fan favorite filet mignons have achieved the distinction of USDA certified very tender. 5 generations of uncompromising quality backed by an unconditional 100% money back guarantee. Nick's going to be, the king of the Thanksgiving table. With that spread.
And so you know what?
Nick, let me get this redone. Save big with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide, extra 20% off select favorites during their early Black Friday sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code Patriots at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com. Promo code Patriots at checkout. Nick, what did you want to say?
I forget now, Jimmy.
It was something good about Omaha Steaks, I'm sure.
Oh, no, I know what it was. It was real quick. You get all those discounts, right? So 50% off plus the 35. You send the gift home for the holidays. The family thinks, he must have spent $150 on this.
Right,
and really, I spent like 75, if that.
Way to get in the family's good graces before, a couple too many drinks at the,
Before Santa comes, I need the gifts.
There you go.
I don't want to get cold this year, man. I don't want to get cold.
So speaking of gifts, Bobby's still here with us, so we want to maximize his time. Who else stood out to you in this one, Bobby? I mean, we talked Pritchard obviously for a bit here, and I know we're going to talk Pritchard when Noah comes on. Is there, we mentioned Brown at the top. I feel like Brown, and again, tonight's a good example, and I know I texted you the stat, and I already read it. The midi game is back, it feels like, maybe around the NBA, but specifically with Brown, those mid-range jumpers are I think his new favorite shot. I don't know if it's new, but it's certainly something he's bringing back and that he's, trying to make the most of.
Yeah, and that was another stat I looked up a game or two ago. Where's this team in the mid-range count? Because it does feel like Pritchard, Brown, they've leaned into that through three-point struggles for this team to begin the year, and they're 6th, or they were a handful of games ago in mid-rangers per game, which you wouldn't have expected for this team, but it's an effective shot for Pritchard. I think he's been one of the best in the league at it. Jalen's lethal from there. So it is good to see those guys self-correct. That's probably a good question for Joe at practice this week. He said he's implemented certain things to be able to give those guys that real estate on the floor. And the big thing he's talked about is that it's there for the taking, right? Defenses take away the rim. Defenses take away the three-point line. So you're going to be able to step in the mid-range often as an offense if you want to get there and if you feel comfortable there, and you can take it. We've seen the Durants of the world. We've seen different guys across the league continue to embrace that, and they have personnel that's well suited for it. I'd love to see Derrick get there a little often. He's struggling from that area too. So he's been in a slump to begin this year from a lot of different areas on the floor. But I feel like if you can get in a little closer, one, it's an easier shot. Two, there's the potential to get fouled. And I still think the biggest problem for this team, or right up there, is that they're fouling a lot this year. They're never getting to the free throw line. And I forget who described it this way. Maybe it was Grandy on the radio call. Like, you're almost down 7, like off the free throw margin to begin these games, period. And if you're shooting exclusively from 3 and you're fouling a lot, which this team's been willing to do this year, that's just something you're giving up. So it's tough right now. Like, they are really battling the margins every single night against almost every team. So it's relieving to see, even though, as you mentioned, Jimmy, 3-point shooting was a big part of it, them separate from a Grizzlies team, them separate from a Wizards team.
Right.
We have 2 Geno times so far, Nick, here. It's good to see they can blow out teams, because I wasn't certain.
Do they still play Geno? Yeah. Do they still roll Geno?
They still roll Geno. They did tonight.
Nice.
All right, we're gonna let Bobby slip away for a second. We're gonna bring Noah on. Nick's gonna do the Geno dance for a full 2 minutes while that happens, and we're gonna go solo cam Nick. No, I'm just kidding. We won't do that to you guys.
Let's
Nick,
talk about John. Let's talk about Xanis for a minute.
Let's not talk. John, I thought John would have been tucked away in bed by now, especially after Celtics win. I thought he would just been groaned and rolled over and went to bed like, oh, I can't believe they won the game.
Yeah,
so
no,
idiots.
definitely.
Those idiots. How could they win the
shot
game?
Of whiskey before bed. Shot of whiskey, take the edge off.
No, John will be back. And this had nothing to do with the Celtics winning. He just couldn't make it tonight, which is all good. We all have those games where we just can't make it work. Nick, real quick, since I know you've wanted to talk to him, and I want to get your take on him before we bring Noah and Bobby on, because you might not get a word in, and also knowing you, I know that you might just try to slink away on us. Yeah, exactly. So what do you want to say about Derrick White? Because it felt like this was a game that you were happy to see him do his thing, and we obviously know how important he is to this team. Just your thoughts on him, in this game so far this season, what maybe we should look to expect moving forward here.
Yeah, I just think he's got to figure out how his world is laid out in this new, no Tatum, the stars are gone, baby. He's got to find shots in different places on the court in different areas. The guys who are his teammates who are passing the ball's landing in different areas than it normally does when, Drew was there or Jason was there. So these are all things they have to adjust to. And that only gets done in time, and I think, is this team going to be a playoff team? Some would hope not. I don't think so, but they can, have a decently, average, mediocre season and still not embarrass themselves. And I think obviously they need Derrick White to contribute in order to do that. And I think game by game, you're starting to see him, perform better with more confidence. And he's not, at the press table, in tears, right? It's like sometimes you see him and he just looks like so dejected, right? So I'm now that we play Marigo, I have filled enough airtime, I think.
No, Nick, you got to at least hang out for a minute.
Nick, say hi at least.
Say hi.
No, you know what? No, I don't mind passing.
Nick, it feels like you're avoiding me.
No,
yeah,
I actually
scared to
I
talk
don't
to girls?
mind passing the mic to you. This game was made for you, Noah, tonight.
It really was.
It was a game I thought of from the second quarter on, especially in the third quarter. I thought this game was made for Noah. So I'm going to give the mic over to you.
let's just say the Positives podcast is going to be lit tonight for Noah.
Yeah, it's gonna go crazy. I already texted Ahmed. It's gonna be a great pod.
We need like a positivity meter now, where like Xanis is when it's very, very positive, Xanis's head is exploding.
I like that. We'll have Ahmed work on the positivity meter. We have the panic meter that I love to use, but maybe the positivity meter is the next thing.
We're going to be going back and forth all year, I feel
Noah's trying to get us to the brownie award and the credit cake and all this stuff. So maybe positivity meter is
I
where
feel
we
like
go.
the credit cake is something that it doesn't make sense to me that it just fell off the way that it did.
We might, you know what, Noah, for you, we'll play credit cake tonight because I think there's a lot of slices that we could
On
dish
that
out.
note, I have been my most positive.
On that note, Nick has the munchies and he's going to go to the fridge for that. I'm going to let Bailey finagle with whatever this situation is. Oh God, that's not. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, I've rambled on enough. Noah, we've talked on and off about almost all of the players that have had good contributions tonight. I think I know where you're going to start, but I'm gonna throw it to you. What are you hot on off this game? And I think it's Pritchard.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had one of his best games of the season, and the last two games
I think so too.
Were not good. What did you say? Unacceptable. And I don't know. Did you guys?
I think so too.
Did you guys play his sound yet?
We did.
Yeah, we played it.
Okay.
Feel free
I thought
to
that
comment
was
on
probably.
it.
Thank you.
Once Bobby got his sidebar out of the way, we were able to get the actual answers from Pritchard that we were looking for.
Yeah.
That was tough because I didn't know he was ready to announce to the world that he's been struggling so much to begin this year. I came in with my little wash angle.
He was like, enough with Jordan. I want to open up to you guys.
He's like, yeah, Walsh is great. Anyways, more about me. Yeah,
I've struggled in pressers recently.
Everybody goes through slumps.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think Payton had a very quintessential game today where the 3-point shot falling opens other things up for him. And I think this was probably the first time all season he's had 5 threes. Maybe I'm wrong.
Definitely.
But this was one of his best 3-point shooting performances. He hasn't had many good ones. And you could tell that it's been weighing on him. The 3-point shooting from the beginning of the year has been weighing on him, but in particular, the fact that now that has translated to overthinking every move has kind of exacerbated the issue. And it's something that I think we've talked about on the show, but when you're shooting 20% from 3 as a career 40% 3-point shooter, you start to wonder okay, should I still take that shot? And then as soon as that moment of indecision happens, it's kind of over because that's literally what the whole NBA is designed to do, is to create a moment of indecision. And now you're creating it yourself. And I think both him and Derek are in that spot where Derek, I don't think, has hesitated as much. Payton, you can see hesitating, but Derek seems more down. So they both have their things going on. But I thought they were both really reflective today. And it doesn't mean that they're going to be fixed and now everything's going to be perfect. But tonight, to me, felt like the closest thing we've had to a turning point in both of their struggles of any other moment that we've had this season. And I do feel like it was foreshadowed for Derek in the previous game, where Derek had that pep in his step a little bit that he hasn't really had for much of the season. That laughing on the bench, that high-fiving coaches, just looked like he was having a really good
His
time.
second half was great.
Tonight, Derek White looked like he had.
Do we have the high five?
I was watching. Jimmy, so many high fives. You wouldn't.
They were flying tonight.
There were so many high fives tonight. I don't even know where to start.
Joe,
Jordan got a high five every time.
Bobby still hasn't seen one. somehow.
Ugo. Yeah, I don't. Bobby's looking away every time somebody checks out of the game.
I'm not on bench watch no.
I'm on bench watch.
No, yeah,
and in any case, I think Derek tonight was goofing off with Tatum a ton on the bench. He was chatting with Sam when he was making fun of Sam when he finally hit his 3. He was back to being the guy that everybody describes as he got his joy back. I think tonight was great for him, and it was great for Payton. And I think that it does kind of make it harder when they're both struggling, because now it's a liability on the court. Jalen's trying to play make it or trying to score or whatever, and then you have 2 guys that are shooting. I saw a graphic today. They're they have the biggest declines year to year. Both of those guys are in the bottom 5 in the league right now. So this feels it wasn't the best defense. It wasn't the best team, but that doesn't really matter because this was about them getting in a good groove. And I think both of those guys made tremendous headway in that sense tonight.
Yeah, and I think this is what this team looks like when you have those guys rolling. Now, are they going to roll at this degree every night? Are you going to put up 130 every night? Obviously not. But if there's somewhere in between them being, as you mentioned, the biggest drop-offs in shooting in the league and them at their best, as we saw tonight, you're going to be a little closer to 500 or above. And Joe was talking after the game about how, you know, the record doesn't reflect the process we've had so far. He feels like they're almost a little better than what they've been record-wise to this point. I think we all see that. They're 12th in net rating. Their offense is top half of the league. Their defense is top half of the league. All the little things you're looking for in terms of executing are there. They're just not shooting well. And not only that, their opponents have been shooting out of this world. Like that Justin Edwards thing yesterday, that's been happening.
The guy averages 4 points a game.
And that's been
Like,
happening to
crazy.
them again and again.
That's
And listen,
outrageous.
That was insane.
that's one of the risks you take playing the style that they have is aggressive and, you know, running off ball and leaving those guys open. Like that's going to happen. But you do expect their opponents to start to shoot a little worse. You do expect them to start to shoot a little better and meet somewhere in the middle. And is that 500? Maybe. It feels like the back and forth nature of this team right now is that of a 500 team. But you have to believe the shooting's better than it's been so far.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know how this team's going to fare. Like, I feel kind of the same I felt going into the season. Like, I don't necessarily even feel worse, even though the record is not on pace to where I thought they were going to be. But without a doubt, regardless of what happens, Payton Pritchard and Derrick White are not going to be shooting 25% from 3 on the year. Like, that's just not going to happen. It doesn't make any sense. A 12-game stretch, a 10-game stretch, that happens all the time to shooters. For somebody to miss that many open threes for an entire season would be historic. Like it really doesn't happen. Maybe a 36% 3-point shooting season or a 35% compared
Yeah, they
to,
could be down.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be hard to make up the ground they've lost here in their shooting department, but that's going to turn around. And then as soon as that does, it just changes everything because now Payton is somebody that he can score at all 3 levels. And I think that's where that's kind of where he's at his best. But the 3-point shot is his money shot, right? And so to take that away from him the entire first month of the season has been really difficult. And it's also really difficult for everybody around him. And then to compound that with Derrick, and now Sam's been in this massive shooting struggle. I mean, Sam has been probably maybe even the biggest one of the 3 of them, but more short term.
Right. He was on like a 4 for
and he
30
started 0 for
there.
6 in this game.
Yeah.
He finally hit one. He was like praying to the gods. And so, and the other thing is that they're all
That's never
guys
good
that
to
just
see.
they all wear their emotion on their sleeves so much. And I'll actually share this anecdote because I thought this was pretty telling. I don't know if you guys, they showed this on the broadcast, but pregame, Jordan Walsh was supposed to start, and Eddie Palladino said Josh Minot was in the starting lineup. I'm assuming someone gave him like the wrong sheet, and so they say the wrong name, and then it was kind of like this awkward moment because Josh has not only been pulled from the starting lineup, but he's been like it's like kind of awkward. Like he got benched last game, and now Jordan's starting, and this is Jordan's first like legitimate start, I think, in this context, and he's not even hearing his name.
So they
and
announced just to be clear, they announced the wrong name on like
the wrong
in
name,
the arena.
and they never corrected it in the arena, and they never corrected it. That was the worst part. I was like,
and
but
Jordan
that's
Walsh like came out to like high fives,
Yes.
but after Joe, nice.
So Jordan Walsh just
I love that.
steps. I was like, maybe the tweet was wrong where they posted
Imagine
the starting
Eddie at
lineup.
tip-offs like, never mind, Jordan Walsh.
I'm assuming it wasn't his fault. Like he's a pro, but in any case, it happened. And the whole time I'm watching everybody's reactions. And Jordan didn't really seem that phased. Josh didn't seem that phased. But Sam Hauser and Derrick White were like, oh my God. Like Sam Hauser's face was in his hands. Derrick was like, and I was like, okay, this is what the problem is. Like their emotions are so visible. And so when they go through a shooting slump, it's like the same thing. But that's what I was thinking. I was like, those 2 guys were like, they could not believe like the embarrassment of the moment and like how brutal it was that
That's
Josh
funny.
heard his name and Jordan didn't.
Yeah.
That might be a dumb story. I just thought it was like,
I've never heard that happen before. I've certainly
I know,
never
it was sad.
been to a game where that's happened.
And for me, who's been, preparing for Jordan's first start for 3 years now.
Yeah, let me guess. You had to put the phone down and like delete the video.
I was like, oh, delete, crash.
Oh, you didn't post
delete
it?
delete forever.
It was emblematic though. They had started Minot, and we had this discussion last game. Like, would you flip those 2? And Minot, it felt like he became a staple. It felt like he was going to maybe start for a long time here. That was going to be their starting unit. And then a couple games go by, he starts to fade a little bit. Walsh starts to surge. And here we go again, a new starting lineup, which we predicted going in there were going to be a lot of this year. So it was pretty emblematic of them thinking they found a lineup because it lasted, 9 games?
But I think we were on the
same.
same page that it wasn't like this is it for the next 82. I don't think.
But I felt like it had some staying power.
I mean, guys, Ugo started 1 game, and I was like, he might be a starter. And then he has one. He gets a DNP one day.
But
and
it was 9 games or 10, like
Yeah.
something. It was a while.
10 games for a team that's really trying to figure it out. I think Josh will start another game this year, and I don't think Jordan's now that's slotted for the start of the rest of the year. And I think Sam will probably start another game this year. Like I think this is just going to keep changing, and it must keep everybody motivated. I worry a little bit that it also creates a level of anxiety. It's like, how do you balance the the fire of like wanting to be the hardest playing player so you can get that spot and get those opportunities, but also not play tight, because Josh looked a little tight today, and I was thinking
tough, yeah.
I don't know exactly what's going on there behind the scenes, but he looked a little tight. So it's a tough balance, but I do think it's ultimately a good thing to have that flexibility as head coach to just play the guy you think is going to impact winning the most, and not the guy that is on the biggest contract or is the predetermined starter from the offseason.
What did you think of them going with Walsh, Jimmy?
Well, we're running a poll right now. Who should be in the starting lineup? Should it be Walsh? Should it be Minot? Should it be Simon? So if you're watching, hit that poll. We ran a poll earlier. We ran a poll earlier. Should the Celtics trade for Ja Morant? And you'll be happy to know the answer was overwhelmingly no. So we're gonna move on from that hypothetical. But a much more realistic one now is, who should be starting. And listen, I think we all thought that this was very possible just by the way that Walsh had been playing as of late, and certainly watching the adjustments that Joe was making in game and seeing Walsh start yesterday in the second half. So I don't think it was a huge surprise to see him in the starting lineup tonight, to everybody but Eddie, I guess. But I liked him there. I mean, this wasn't like a Walsh game, but he did some nice things defensively tonight, as he's done. That's earned him a spot there. And again, 17 minutes, it's fine. Whether you're starting or coming off the bench. Minot ended up playing 21 minutes, so it's not like Minot was banished to the doghouse with.
He was in garbage
Shireman.
time though, wasn't he?
A little.
It was, but there was a lot of garbage time tonight. Like, what are you going to say? It was a 20 plus point game in the third quarter. So it is what it is. I mean, if Missoula was trying to make a point, Minot would still have been sitting on the bench, regardless of what the score was. I mean, Boucher got time. Does it have anything to do with the fact that this is the second night of a back-to-back, that they went so deep early on, relatively?
Maybe a little. I mean,
I felt like they cut back Jalen's minutes. That stood out to me.
I mean, they were also up by a lot, so it's like, that's great, right?
But they were up by a lot. Like midway through the second, it was like a 6-point game, and I felt like there was like already 10, 12 guys that had touched the court. So I didn't know if it had anything to do with last night. But regardless,
they
I mean,
played
they were
13 games in 22 days, so they've been on a long.
There's a lot of games played.
Even from a reporter standpoint, that feels like
I'm tired.
Yeah, we're all worried about you guys, so we're glad that you're gonna have a couple nights, couple of days off here. Missoula mentioned that he can't wait to get to practice the next couple of days. So, I mean, that's something else. These guys haven't really had much time at all to practice or to go over, what's been going right, what's been going wrong. So they're going to take some time here. They don't play until Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So they've got
in the afternoon.
A really big layoff here, and considering it's the middle of the season, the way things have gone so far. So they're going to work on some things. Do you expect to see Walsh back in that starting lineup on Sunday?
It might come down to the practice performance these next couple games, as well as the Clippers matchups there. I don't think Walsh did enough tonight or over the last week to say it's his, this worked, full speed ahead. And
I don't think that exists.
Sure we'll ever
I don't think the full speed ahead. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna.
No, but Minot went on an extended run there. Not to say it was half the season, but like he held it down for a while and it was working. And I still I like that they tried it tonight. I liked what Walsh has been doing recently. But I did worry that it was just going to throw Minot to the side a little bit and you wouldn't get anything out of him and he'd just be lost with the bench. And that's kind of what happened here in this one. So not to say that I want to see them go back to Minot right away. They won this game. The rotations worked. There's an argument that you should just roll with it until it stops working. But I worry about what this is going to do for Minot, who doesn't have
he's
as
an adult.
cemented of a role.
What do you mean? Like,
Well, that's
what are you
kind
worried
of the
about?
thing. I think so. Here's the part of our job that gets a little difficult, I think. So we don't know like how his psyche works with Joe, and whether Joe relegating him to an 8 minute, was it 8 minutes last game? And then, moving him out of the starting lineup, like, is that the worst thing that could happen to his career, or is that the best thing that could happen to his career? We really don't know. All we know is that
react great tonight. That's my
he
point.
looked tight at the beginning. I do think that he started feeling more comfortable. He had a couple of good plays that seemed like to get him going a little bit.
Fourth quarter, he was running up and down with Pritchard.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, I think like in a few months we'll have a better sense of, okay, that stretch in the fall where it was clear Joe wasn't thrilled with Minot and Minot got moved from the starting lineup. Was that what he needed to avoid feeling complacent, or was it like Joe was a little too hard on him and he actually dulled his light a little? Like it would be unfair to like have a take on that, I think.
My point is we've seen Walsh thrive with the bench, and in that role it looks like he can do
2 days though.
Yeah, for 3-4 game stretch here. And Minot we haven't seen do well in that role, and you can give it some more time here. You can start to see how those two things develop. But I like the Ugo Walsh thing off the bench. I like the Minot Keita thing, which was so effective, especially at solving the boards.
But Walsh
It was
is
getting
Walsh and
stale.
Kada have the best plus-minus rating in the
They
NBA.
do, and there's
so-
an interchangeability in a lot of
would've
the
guessed
stuff
that.
that Minot and Walsh do.
You what'd you say?
I would have guessed that.
You would have?
No.
Have I brought it up already?
No.
Well, listen,
Jimmy was thinking that.
for Portland, Maine, that's a really monumental moment. A lot of original Maine Celtics fans texted me about that, being like, "Wow, you remember when we were
Full
all at the
circle.
Expo 2 years ago? Look at them
remember
now."
remember those days. No,
Yeah.
when it comes to Walsh,
Why,
and
why
Bobby,
there are like multiple Maine Celtics fans that can text me is a different problem.
all of them texted you.
Yeah, all
I think they just have your
Yeah.
number plastered on
Yeah.
a whiteboard up there.
Maine Celtics opening weekend coming up.
We love that. Regarding Walsh, if what he does best is defense, what do you mean by Bobby? What do you mean by you like him better with the bench? He's going in there.
It's not that I like him better with the bench. He was able to perform with the bench. That's my point.
I think he performed well tonight too.
No, I'm not saying he can't
But
perform.
he
with the
performed
starters. I'm
last
saying
night
my-
with starters.
This is my thing with the Pritchard Simons thing. Like the starting lineup plays together for the first 5 minutes of the game, and then sometimes that's it. Maybe they start the second half. Maybe they close the game out. It's like a couple of stints of that combination of players. You look at like how much time the preferred starting lineup with Minot has played together. It's limited.
Right.
And so that's why it's like this. I understand there's a significance to like picking a guy and running with him the most. But as far as combinations of things, like I want to let's talk about that Jalen, Anthony, Luka, Sam Hauser group that plays the second half of every first quarter. Like that combination matters just as much. And does that combination work? And are there deficiencies to that lineup? Like I just think sometimes we emphasize that starting group when they really don't have that much run
That's
together.
why I worry sometimes about stacking the starting lineup with the 5 guys who are playing the best and then just rolling whoever out there with the second unit is left over. Because I actually looked at the numbers today. The Hauser, Garza, Simons thing that we've been hot and cold about actually has rated decently on the season. I don't know how much noise there is in there, but they were +5 coming into tonight for 100. So they've gotten better play out of the bench recently, but I do feel like for the role guys with the bench that are out there and trying to fit in where they can, they get a little lost sometimes when they're not playing with the Browns, the Tatums, the Whites of the world. And yes, you can stagger and try to get those guys playing with them. That's what they did with Simons in the second half last game. But there was a stretch in the first half where Pritchard, White, and Brown were all off the floor, and it was just Simons jacking shots, and everybody else was just trying to figure out what to do. So I'm not placing too much of an importance on who's starting and who's on the bench. It's just for a guy like Minot, I feel like they got the best out of him by playing him with the best players. And now that he's with the second unit and maybe guys who can't set him up as well, there might be some drop off for him. And it had nothing to do with how Walsh has played. I think he's played well in both positions so far.
I'm just so impressed. To get a little bit unrelated, but like the fact that Jordan Walsh's last 3 assignments have been Paolo Banchero, Tyrese Maxey, and Jaren Jackson is awesome. Like that's like I never would have guessed going into the season that he was capable of guarding that scope of players and doing so effectively. Like he drew 2 charges on Jaren Jackson, I think, in that first half. He was awesome on Maxey. He was awesome on Banchero.
He blocked so many shots. Too.
Yeah, like it's just that's not really to your point, but part of it is if you're going to give him that assignment, and if you want to match him up with the opposing team's best player, then it helps to start it.
And you made the point yesterday, like if you do get better shooting out of Walsh in that position, does it start to get the whole team going?
Yeah, and I don't know if he's like. I think he has a better looking shot in my opinion, but does that mean he's a better shooter? Like it's been such a small sample in a month.
What's
they
his
have
main
the numbers.
percentage? 36.
He was like 36. He has a better shooting pedigree in limited samples than Josh does, but I've heard Josh has been shooting really well. So
And he's shooting well at the free throw line, which usually says a lot, Josh.
yeah. So in like 3 months, 2 months, even less than that, probably we'll get a sense of like, okay, like how do these guys stack up as shooters? Ugo has been shooting really well, but he's taken like 12 shots. Like I don't know how these guys actually stack up, and obviously that matters quite a bit over an entire season and over an entire career when it comes to like who's going to be successful here. But the nice thing is they have options, and they have 3 guys that do this really well. They defend really well. They deflect a lot of passes. They get steals. They get blocks. Like, they just have good instincts, and they play really hard. And so better to have that than one. I thought Ugo looked a step slow behind tonight. I think it was probably his ankle that he sprained literally like 24 hours ago. But even still, like that's a guy that has shown that he can guard the opposing team's best player multiple times already this season. He was the one that was getting the Cade Cunningham, Jalen Brunson assignments like 2 weeks ago. So they have a luxury of options, and that's really cool.
I was trying to figure it, Jimmy. I was in the locker room pregame trying to remember Tobio Rodia. One's ankle, one's knee. And I keep mixing them up. I can't figure it out. And he set me straight there. But he said he was feeling fine coming off yesterday.
Well, what's the answer?
I forget again. I can't keep
When did you do this? I was in the locker room the
Write
entire
this
30-minute
down.
period. I did not see you go talk to him in Spanish.
I
When
did. I was
this?
trying
I
to
must have
figure-
blacked it out.
Do you
Well,
know?
Tibia.
No, I
You
don't.
claim your Spanish is better than mine.
Tibia is like a leg. So maybe
My Spanish is better than
tibia.
yours. Per Ugo. Sources are Ugo. That says
Wow.
my Spanish is better than Bobby's.
That is true.
We have
You did look
we
a
have-
step slow though.
Yeah. I mean, literally like a fraction, but I like for what their job is, you can't be like a hair slow when you're chasing these guys around off ball screens. And that's like been his thing that he hasn't been a step slow.
I'm just glad he did. I mean, when
Joe
he-
was also coaching him so hard in the final few minutes there. I was getting like scared. But
well, I was
that's-
scared yesterday when we saw him go off because I thought he really
At
turned
Ugo
it. It
or
was kind of
Josh?
Ugo, because it looked like he was going to miss some time there, and fortunately they ruled him available by the end of the night. So it would have stunk if he got off to this great start to his career, this level of
then
involvement.
misses,
he
like,
had to
6
miss some
weeks. Yeah, that
time.
sucks.
So good to see he avoided a scare there. Good to see this team, and I keep knocking on wood, extraordinarily healthy. You
Knock
see
on-
these health updates every single day around the league. So major ones. Bradley Beal's
This
going to miss
feels
the
like a jinx.
season.
I-
Where's the sorry?
There's no wood around
I've said this
here.
already, so I haven't jinxed it yet.
I know.
I just
you
have to
remember what
be-
I said before the playoffs
Easy.
last year?
What?
I shouldn't bring it up.
Okay.
Don't bring it up. We don't need to talk
I
about.
jinxed-
We don't even need to talk about that they're healthy. We know they're healthy. We're happy that they're healthy. Let's all just hope that they stay healthy. Bobby, there's somebody who sent you a couple super chats here, so we're gonna put them on screen. The first one.
I need my glasses.
Well, I'll read it to you. 45. This is from Jay Cancel Roman. $10. 45% field goal percentage, 35% 3-point field goal percentage, 50 field goal attempts. I imagine that's 3-point field goal attempts.
Today, yeah.
Those are the numbers that he posted. Then he said, Bobby, did you see the super chat? This is the fourth time I've posted after we win. So it sounds to me like he's saying when the Celtics shoot over 45% from the field, over 35% from three with 50 attempts, they win the game. This is the fourth time, which I guess makes sense. It sounds like they hit a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
All that to say,
they've-
they shot well tonight.
All they've been missing is league average shooting. Like they have been bottom 5 from the start shooting a 3. And so when that levels up to, let's say they end the year league average, I think they're going to be above 500. I think that's the kind of year it's going to be for them, is that they can do all the little things. They can control all the little parts of the game. But what's the shooting going to be? It was so hard to watch that first half yesterday. And we've watched a lot of that this year, of shots from every level just not going in for this team. I guess it was a little more extreme in that one, but it was emblematic of how they started the year. So it was good to see that turn around a little bit in the second half yesterday, as well as in the length of this game here. Not an extraordinary shooting night by any means for this team, but they don't need that. They just need something average, something representative of who all these guys are. And as we said when we first got on here, White, Pritchard, Jalen certainly too, they're capable of league average 3-point shooting. And if they can get there, this team's going to be in a much better spot, but they need to get there. I don't think they can shoot this bad all year and have a good season.
And the tough thing is it's a team thing. And like last night, for example, they were missing layups. They were missing everything last night. But the 3-point thing really does come down to Derek and Payton. Like they're the two guys that are your highest volume
And
3-point shooters.
Hauser's got to get going.
Hauser's going to get going, but those two guys have always attempted more threes than them. I think those are the two guys that are playing the bulk of the minutes. Hauser's played fewer minutes. So he's important, obviously. And obviously his biggest thing is 3-point shooting. So it's critical.
And
to him.
Simons too. And
yeah.
this
But Simons
is,
has had a good shooting season.
yes, and that's why we're not going to do it tonight. But the reason I'm on Team Simons, get him involved, get him more acclimated, be more aggressive in utilizing him, is he is the best shooter on this team. It's looking like 3-point shooter. So they need to tap into that. They need to utilize that. It's got to be part of this team's attack. It's a balance, right? All this stuff, but he can't get forgotten. What do you feel about his game tonight?
Great playmaking game. I don't know how many assists he finished with, but he threw some of the best passes I've seen. Yeah, he had. I was really impressed by his playmaking abilities, and that's a part of his game that I don't know how long it's been there. Again, like I didn't watch a ton of Anthony Simons prior to this year, but
His
the
assist to
last
turnover
week or
ratio is always good.
Last week or so really has shown that ability, and I don't know if that's something that has been an intentional effort on his end or it's just kind of happening. But he throws these really nice like crisp bounce passes to the post that. And rewatching the second or the Philadelphia game, like Nimi's open a lot, and a lot of times they miss
That
him.
was an underrated takeaway tonight. They finally hit Nimi.
And they hit him, and I think he helped set the tone there. And it was a couple guys too, but he's good at that. I think everybody's kind of thinking and looking for him a little bit more Great Kata game, honestly.
He was awesome. They
Probably
found
flying under the
him.
radar because of all the shooting bounce backs, but he was another major contributor here. And he didn't look great in preseason. Like, he has had a massive improvement over the past month. And in Orlando, Joe actually said that when I asked him about Kata. He was like, he's gotten a lot better from training camp to preseason to now. And it's like, that's a 6-week period. So you're seeing that his confidence and his rhythm grow. Not to answer Simon's question with Kata, but I saw that connection a
I'm
couple
glad
times
you
tonight
brought
that I
up
really
Kata.
liked.
I forgot about him. 13 games now, 13 starts. I don't know if we thought that's how it was going to go, but that's to talk about positives from the season so far. That is a major one that he's held it down and he's maintained that spot against some competition too. Garza's surged lately, and Tillman closed the game at one point against Philadelphia. Like, it hasn't been certain that he was going to hold on to that, and he has. So credit to him. He does continue to play better. He continues to look like one of the more important players on this team, just in terms of what he brings versus everybody else at that position. Too bad Boucher got another shot tonight and just didn't do
Boucher's
it. It wasn't long, but
yeah, completely different player. But I'm glad you brought up Kata because we mentioned him briefly in the beginning of the show, and a perfect 6 of 6 from the field tonight. I called it like a Kendrick Perkins type, line back in the day. Perk used to just, I think he still has the record for Celtics field goal percentage, unless Rob Williams broke it over 30 games one year. But
I thought Mac was up there too.
Yeah, no, Perk definitely had it at one point, and Kata's definitely stepped into a nice role here. I love when he's out there on the court. Again, he gives you everything he has. He just can't give you it at like a 30-minute mark. And that's where our new friend Luka Garza is coming in. And I know Noah wrote a nice piece on Luka Garza recently, and what perfect timing for this guy to really step up.
Some are saying that the piece is what caused his increase.
A lot of people are saying that.
A lot of
as
people are
they
saying
should.
that. Yeah.
A little bit of fuel to the fire there, but 14 points tonight for Garza, 7 boards, I think 5 offensive. This guy is just all over the glass. He's a ball of energy.
Ridiculous offensive rebound.
It felt like if there were potential offensive rebounds, it felt like he had like 10 to 15 yesterday. And then
he's got his hands everywhere.
Tonight.
And
go ahead. Sorry, Jimmy.
I was going to say, I want to throw this to you, Noah, but I know you asked Joe a question about him after the game about, I kind of couldn't remember the exact wording, so I wanted to throw it to you to just if you could just tell everybody the question that you asked Joe and the response. I thought his answer was very interesting.
Yeah. So the whole the story, which you can find on Celtics blog, is about just basically this guy being the hardest playing player always.
Hardest playing.
That's kind of what got. Yeah, hardest playing.
Is he top 3 now with Shyman?
I love that term. So
did he pass Shyman?
I'm not doing this. So Luka tonight, it was Bobby Kravitsky that first asked Joe about Luka, and the thing with Joe that I'm sure regular, watchers of the show, know Joe Mazzulla's press conferences. He does not like to heap praise on players. It's very rare, especially guys that are just beginning to establish themselves. Like maybe Derek will say whatever, but as somebody like Luka, you normally not say much about.
Wall, Shireman, Kata, Luka,
trust me, like for years now, I've been fishing for those quotes as somebody who's writing stories about these guys, so I know it better than anybody. But with Luka tonight, he said to Bobby, like pretty much unprompted, Bobby K, that he is, has this special gift for playing harder than everybody else on the court. And that's exactly what his dad had been kind of explaining to me when I wrote this feature about him earlier in the week, which obviously is one thing for your dad to believe that about you, but it's always interesting for Joe, who doesn't really like saying things like that, to say that. And then I asked him, like, do some people just not have that? And did you know right away that Luka had that? And he was like, I knew like the day, the first day that he had that, had that innate ability to be the hardest playing player. And followed up with Luka in the locker room, and he basically said, that it's that natural like lack of athleticism that he has always had has forced him to be that guy. He doesn't know if he was born that way or if it was a God-given talent or whatever it is, but because he had to find a way to stay out there and to be impactful, like you don't have a choice, right? Somebody like Jaylen Brown, who was probably the most athletic guy in the state for his upbringing. Like, you don't necessarily have to be the hardest playing player because you can just make up for it and jump out of the gym. Or, most of these guys, most of these NBA players, like never had to like be the like.
And it's a detriment to some of them. I think when they get to the league.
coaches were telling Luka's dad, like when he was a 9th grader, like this is not going to work. The guy does not have the athleticism required to be a basketball player. And so if that's the very rare backstory. And yes, he was really tall, and that certainly helps. But he was 6'7" and he couldn't dunk. Like that's wild. Who like
He's pretty ground bound.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of athleticism pop to his
The one thing that I'll say though that his dad explained to me, and I'm really glad that he said this because I've now the last 2 games since talking to him, I've seen it differently. Defensive rebounding, you have to have a level of like there is some athleticism required there, and so you see certain players like Pritchard. Pritchard is not like known for his defensive rebounding. He's actually as solid as it gets because he's so fundamental, but he's never going to be the best defensive rebounder because of his size. Luka Garza is never going to be the best defensive rebounder, but offensive rebounding is a completely different skill set. And I think sometimes that gets lost because we just talk about rebounds in general and how many does this guy average. And on the offensive end, I think this is somebody that he just has the timing and the desire to get them. And as soon as his dad kind of explained that to me, it's always been different for him, the offensive end and the defensive end. Now I'm watching him play and I'm realizing like he has a massive advantage on the offensive end because
I feel that.
Yeah. And then on the defensive end, it's like he's trying, but a lot of people are trying, so it's a little bit different in that sense.
It is
interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
Yeah.
I've always felt that.
I can't tell that's sarcasm. Is that too
No,
niche?
I'm
Is that,
serious.
like-
No.
Like,
That's
am I the only
interesting.
person that finds that interesting?
No, I feel that playing the
Okay.
game myself.
No, we're all
Like, I've always
Celtics
struggled with
nerds. We want to hear these things, so we
Are
appreciate
you
any
better
insight
offensive rebounder?
like that.
I mean, that's like the strength of my game. And defensive rebounding, I've always
People are calling you Luka Garza.
Bobby grabs
I
a lot
thought
of his
Josh
own
Ryan out,
rebounds.
but-
We'll leave it at that.
There's some of that with him too. I'll throw this out there. Maybe it's not a perfect comparison, but his demeanor, the way he approaches the game, the way he gets into those right positions, even adding the 3-point layer to his game at this point in his career, I do see some tiny Horford light comparison to him. Like,
We have been dying for a Horford comp for
There
so
it
long
is.
now. Like every time a
But does he
nice
have
like
Horford's
a solid
eyes?
big.
he's got his eyebrows,
Does he?
great eyebrows.
Okay,
but
great
not the
eyebrows.
eyes.
We'll take it. Yeah.
And again, I'm
I
not.
see a little bit.
I'm
I
not
know-
comparing their games, but 2 guys who are playing center at 6'8", 6'9", 2 guys who did add the 3 a little later into their careers, 2 guys who play, fundamentally and use their bodies well. Defensively is where the comparison probably falls apart because Garza does struggle a little bit on that end, and Horford's like all-time defender, but his demeanor, like every time we talk to him, it's like he's saying all the right things, stand up professional. You can tell he just puts hours.
He's a
and
little
hours.
less serious than Al.
Yeah,
Al
is super
had like
serious.
4 quotes that he repeated the entire season.
Where is he between? Like, is there a little part of Cornette in his game, Bobby? Maybe.
No, I don't see that. Cornette's 7'1" or whatever he is, height wise, length. Like he just takes up space out there with his length and height.
Where's Sherrod?
I don't
Sherrod-
quite see
if
that.
Sherrod was
Now
here, he
the
would've
role,
left.
the role is similar, right? Like he's screening a ton. I think his screening's fantastic. By the way, it's probably in part because of his body. He does have like a great body to screen with, but he's always setting up guys, creating separation. He talks a lot about that, and man, like. If you followed him since college, and I do recommend people watch his college highlight tape because he was like otherworldly.
right on
Like he
that.
should be in like the college Hall of Fame. Like the
The
career
other thing
he
that's
had.
fascinating is he was National Player of the Year, and then he was drafted late in the 2nd round, and very few people thought that he was going to make it as an NBA player, which is,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was
he's not
worried.
the only one, but it's always a fascinating prototype of a guy who clearly like destroyed at that level, but people are just like, there's something fundamental that he's not going to be able to overcome.
He's
at
lost a
the
lot
next
of
level.
weight. He was very heavy in college. He was, a post up big. So
Mhm.
he's definitely chiseled out in a way that has helped him.
He's
gotten
probably
those-
had
his-
to change his game a little bit.
He's
Yeah.
and add the 3. Tonight we saw the 3 unleashed, and I want to see more of that because I think he's a good shooter. The free throw actually does look a little shaky for him. I know we mentioned it with Josh, so it's not supernatural, but he hits a lot of them. We see it in the warmups. You mentioned the amount of practice shots he took last year. Like
More than anybody in the NBA. That was one
Yeah.
of the cool things I learned is that 28 out of 30 NBA teams track shot attempts at practice. The Celtics are one of the 2 that don't. And he took 12,000 more shots than
That's
the
a
next
crazy
guy.
shot.
Wow.
Per Noah Basketball. Did I say this yesterday?
Wow.
Yeah, you
I might have because
You
then
might
I
as well
said
say it
no
again.
relation. So that's why I
Great
lied that he was-
stat.
It's Noah with an H.
No with an H, no relation. But it's a great
No
stat.
relation. Okay.
I'm glad he's breaking through. And you know what? Everybody with this team who we went into this year saying, all right, are they gonna, there's opportunity here, are they gonna take it? Maybe save for Boucher, who's done what he needs to do in his career, right? He's won a championship, he's played a lot of basketball in Toronto, but Garza, Walsh, Mine not.
All the unproven guys.
All the unproven guys have done a little something so far. Shireman's still on the low end of that, and you're hoping that he can find some.
Drew a nice charge today. Hit a
Yeah.
nice 3.
No, he got back involved.
Some
He's
good
not.
plays.
He's not buried right
Yeah.
now. So everybody on this team can feel like there's opportunity and a chance to get involved. And Joe said it tonight. He asked his biggest takeaway. He was asked his biggest takeaway from the start of this year, and it's that we care. Like we're invested right now. And not that he said that, but I feel like that's his sentiment. Is that everybody on this team's in alignment. It's probably easy losing some of these games or sitting sometimes or whatever hurdles these guys might run into this year to break apart and not continue to play at the intensity. Like they've had a few slip ups in their effort at times, right? Like you've been tracking that. but it
Really
hasn't
not a
persisted.
lot. It's
Not a
pretty
lot,
much
one or
just the
two.
Utah game.
Yeah.
Which is, out of 13 games, it's not bad.
Yeah.
You just can't afford it because this team's gonna lose if that's the
Right. And we'll see if
situation.
that
But
can last the whole
listen, this
year.
is what we were saying yesterday too. Like this team has been really fun to watch. They've competed at a high level. The problem right now is that they've been losing their crunch time games, and this tonight did nothing to show me whether or not that's going to trend upwards. But they're in every game. I mean, I think they got blown out once by the Rockets and half a game by the Knicks before they made a little push there. So they're competing. They're right there. Like this is not a roster that's like, this roster just can't hang. And the defensive rebounding, by the way, what I thought was going to dominate the entire year, they out rebounded this team a lot tonight, and that's just kind of been not an issue anymore.
And they've gone through the hard part, Jimmy. I texted you guys this earlier. 13 games in 22 days. Difficult opponents, 3 Philly games, a lot of road games to begin this season. They got 3 days off now. We mentioned the practices. Their only 2 games next week are against Brooklyn. Like
both?
Who's just like that's an
Love.
automatic
Wow.
win.
So they get like the next 10
There
days
is-
off.
That is an automatic win. The
Knock
Brooklyn
on
There's
wood.
Nets,
no such thing as an automatic win.
I'm declaring it right now. They're gonna win both.
What's the
Bobby,
timestamp on this?
don't
Because
do
now they
this.
don't win both games.
Come
Yeah.
on.
We'll
I
make
can't
sure-
say this
we'll
about
make
the
sure-
Ahmed has a
Nets.
timestamp. Okay.
Bailey and Amit
Yeah.
will make sure that we play this one back. Hopefully we don't have to.
Why-
If we
yeah,
do,
okay.
Bobby,
You don't have the
you're
level
gonna
of faith in the Celtics.
Bobby,
It's not about
Bobby,
that. It's
you're gonna have to do
it's the game
another
of
apology
basketball. That's
cam
the
if they
whole point.
lose.
Yeah.
I
If
did
they
say they
lose-
had no chance against the Knicks. Now I'm saying
Yeah.
they have 100% chance.
I can't
against
get
the
triggered.
Nets.
I can't get rage baited by this. Like I'm not doing it anymore.
If they lose, Bobby will be back on
Yeah.
apology cam. We're gonna get everybody out of here, but before we do, we promised Noah.
Oh, Clippers. I forgot about the Clippers.
We
Promise
Sorry.
Noah. Oh,
No,
credit cake.
We promised Noah that we would. Okay, no, we're gonna let you choose. Do you want to do brownie award or credit cake?
Let's do brownie award because it's kind of hard for me to come up with the percentages when I'm not in front of my computer.
All right, I would love to do credit cake, but we'll wait until you're ready math wise. We'll do brownie
No,
award.
we can. Okay, fine. Let's do credit cake.
Let's do credit cake.
I didn't know.
All right, let's
I
do
didn't know.
credit cake. We actually have the credit cake open. I'm gonna play right now.
Isn't
Cake.
it so much nicer?
Reminds me of carrot cake.
Who wants to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first because I need to think.
I'll go
I'll
first.
calculate it,
I'll
Jimmy.
just throw some numbers out there. I'm the worst guy to try to figure out how to get to 100 here, by
Yeah,
the way.
But you got the calculator.
I'm
I
going
like
to keep
watching
it
the
simple.
viewers drop while Jimmy does his thing. Hi.
I'm going to keep it
Once you
simple. I'm
start
gonna-
doing 43,
numbers.
yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking Luka Garza. I loved what he gave them off the bench tonight. I'm going to give him 20% of my cake because the offensive rebounds, the second chance points, the energy. I think when Joe Mazzulla says that we want it more or we want it, that's some of the one of the things we care was what he said his last quote. I think he's thinking about guys like Luka Garza. Not that there's guys he's not thinking of, but Luka's one. That's, what did I say, 15%? Is that what I gave him?
Yes.
Jeez, that's not a good one to start with. Let's do 25%. No, I'm going to do, okay, so 35. I'm going to do 35% Payton Pritchard. So now I'm at 50%. That's a safe place for me to be. 50% Payton Pritchard for all the reasons you guys talked about. I thought Pritchard had the best game of the season so far. I'm going to do 20% Jaylen Brown. We didn't really talk about Jaylen Brown much, but I felt like he gave them everything they needed in that first half where they kind of got that lead.
Right, 7 for 11.
Yeah, efficient. I love the way he's playing right now. So I'm at 70%. Give Derrick White.
Get there.
Give Derrick White 10. No, give Derrick
Who's
White
great.
15. Now I'm at 85%. And I know I'm missing people. I'm at 85%. Let me take a look here. I'll do I'll do Joe Mazzulla 15% for getting these guys.
Yeah.
Rebound. The way they responded from last night. Less than 24 hours later. I think that says a lot about what he was able to do to get these guys ready for action tonight.
All right, I think I got mine figured out. I'm going to go 30 White. I thought White was exceptional tonight. Full control, made his shots too. I thought he was on the podium tonight, so I think it's fitting he gets the biggest. I will go 20 Jalen, who I thought, again, set the tone with the shot making here. Was good all around again, gathering the attention, all that. So that gets us to 50. Throw another 20 at Pritchard, who mentioned the shooting, all of that. So that gets us to 70. And then let's go like 15 Garza. That gets us to 85. I'll go 10 Keita, who was excellent here tonight. And let's throw 5 at Joe.
Yeah, I could have probably given.
That was exactly my credit cake.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't.
Wow.
Okay, I think it is. I have it in my head, but
okay, let's get it.
No.
Actually, 3 Joe, 2 Walsh.
Okay.
Let's split up that one.
Keep it 2.
Okay.
It's not even a slice at that point.
30%. I'll change it from here. 30% Derrick, 20% Payton. I think that the backcourt was what really kind of changed the game in this one.
Okay. I like that.
I'll give 15 to Jalen. What am I at?
65.
And then 10 to Keita, 10 to Garza. It's so stressful.
85.
You're the most.
I'll give 10 to Jordan and 5 to Joe.
Okay.
100. But
everybody's eating tonight.
Everybody's eating. I think Jordan.
You forgot Ron.
Shit.
Yo, Ron Harper story dropping in the morning. I know you guys are all holding your breath.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm completely serious.
That's awesome.
He had 6 points. He had 6 points in 4 minutes. Which puts him on pace for what's his per 36.
We'll always remember this one.
Yeah.
His per 6 would be.
He was at a block in 4 minutes, which means that he had 9 blocks
times
per
6.
36. Valuable Ron Harper Jr.
I do like
minutes.
per 36.
Ron Harper probably had an awesome childhood. I'm just guessing that he had an
Talk
awesome
about a college
childhood.
player. I'll save that for another time, but he was great.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to that, Noah. Bobby, you guys got anything else coming up this week or anything we should look for? I know there's no games until Sunday.
Yeah, we got a couple practices, so we'll have coverage of that.
Nothing tomorrow, though.
Nothing
I'm
tomorrow,
waking up
which
at
is
2
nice.
p.m.
Wow, day off.
We'll have some off-day podcasts, some guests coming up. We got AJ DeBance, who's going to be playing here on Saturday, coming up on the Garden Report.
Are you going?
Stay tuned for that. We will be there. So we'll have coverage of his game here. Everyone wants to tank for him. Like I said,
everyone.
He acknowledged it. So it was cool to hear him talk about that. And
great.
We'll hear from more of him over the weekend.
Well, we appreciate all the content you guys are pushing out for us. We have the Patriots tomorrow in the meantime.
Yes.
So keep it locked on CLNS. Go to the Patriots.
Our Patriots.
Yes. Go to the Patriots part of CLNS. Patriots, I think it's Press Pass.
Press Pass, yep.
Peter Kyles and the whole gang. They're doing an awesome job over there. So Patriots at home against the Jets. That used to be a fun rivalry. Back when the Jets had even
Is that Aaron Rodgers?
Slight
For a
post.
year.
Oh, not anymore.
Yeah, not. You don't really think of Aaron Rodgers when you think of the Jets.
No.
Okay, my bad.
Your defense, Noah. You don't really think of anybody anymore.
He played for them.
Jets.
Okay.
So Patriots, Jets tomorrow. Keep it locked on CLNS for pregame coverage, postgame coverage, and all the in between. And we will be back here on the Garden Report on Sunday. Against the
3:30
Nets.
game.
You say no?
Clippers. I screwed it
Clippers.
up. They do play the Clippers
We
first.
forgot about how can we forget about the Clippers? Kawhi comes to town.
Kawhi's hurt.
Well, he's still
Yeah.
coming to town.
He might not
He's
be.
probably still
He might
traveling.
be staying up.
No, we're trying to get people to watch.
I don't
Okay,
think so.
Kawhi's dealing with the tree company right now. We won't get into any more details with that. Big tree guy. But other than that, Celtics will be here, and they're fully healthy unless Bobby jinxed it tonight. So a lot of reasons to tune in on Sunday.
No, what do you?
That'll do it for us. Thank you guys very much. We did almost 2 hours again tonight. So we put the work in. Celtics put the work in. 131.95 over the
This
listless.
show's longer than Star Wars.
A famous producer once said. The Grizzlies, not much growl in the Grizzlies. You don't want to be a Grizzlies fan right now. I want to talk about Ja Morant next time the Celtics play the Grizzlies. We didn't talk about him enough tonight. Maybe he'll be on the team by then. Maybe he won't be. Regardless, we'll have you covered. On that note, we'll see everybody on Sunday. Bailey, hit us with the outro.